Babe, wake up. We're about to watch another BoraCity Magazine video. Let's go.
You know BTS!
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Landon and we are here again today with the one and only BoraCity Magazine video. Today, the topic of discussion is BTS versus Spotify. If you haven't seen, I did do another BoraCity Magazine reaction earlier last week about YouTube Army, and I had quite a lot to say. So I just want to say thank you all so much for those comments in there. I couldn't go and answer all of them, but I read all the comments that y'all left, and everybody saying, Landon, don't defend yourself. Landon, we love you, blah, 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 blah. Like, it really does mean so much to me to read that. I hate to say it like this, but the validation really does make me feel good. It makes me feel like we're creating a community, a safe space, a great place to be in. And sometimes it's just good to hear that everybody's enjoying the videos, you know, and having a good time. And even the one and only BoraCity commented on it, so thank you to Bora if you're watching this again. Still #1 Bora stan, and I ain't going nowhere. So I'm so excited to see more of Bora's videos. Today, like I said, we're going over BTS versus Spotify. This is a little shorty in comparison, but I'll see if I have a lot to say. Let's go.
Every end of the year since 2016, millions of Spotify users share with the world their Spotify Wrapped data, which includes their most streamed songs and artists. But Spotify Wrapped is not only for users, it's also for artists. So along with your own personalized Spotify data, Spotify releases the platform's data with its most streamed songs and artists. This helps the artists increase their reputations and popularity even more.
Where's
so
BTS?
they can reassure music critics and the general public that they are successful artists. They can get media coverage even without a new release. They can get the attention of new listeners, and they can even increase their streams, since Spotify creates playlists with the most popular songs of the most popular artists. But what if I told you that this data is not the most accurate data?
I will believe you.
If you go to the hashtag
I believe you.
you will see different users jumping on the trend, but it was all started by BTS's Fandom army. This is because Spotify has had a weird relationship with BTS since the group entered the global music market in 2017, and 2022 was not the exception. In Spotify's year-end charts, BTS was the 5th most streamed artist, but they were completely left out of Spotify's Artist of the Year playlist, giving their number 5 position to Ed Sheeran. 2022 was also the year when the BTS members started releasing official solo projects. Spotify announced that Jungkook, who had a collaboration with Charlie Puth and who sang the World Cup official song, became the most streamed K-pop soloist. But Spotify, without any explanation, apparently changed their minds last minute and named the 2nd position as the most streamed K-pop soloist. This
is why I want to say thank you to Bora. A lot happens in this armydom that I don't see, and I probably am glad that I don't see it, because I would be so heated at the moment. But to kind of go back here and to just relive in these moments, I'm getting heated up again. But I'm so glad we get to learn about it, because it's really important to know all the trials and tribulations of our boys. You know what I'm saying? But I had no idea, why the fuck would they put you as number 5 BTS and then not put you on the playlist? Like, that one, I was already gooped, gagged, and gandered. But over here, when you're saying that they literally tweeted Jungkook was the most streamed soloist, and then you're gonna delete it and put it to Lisa? Like, no offense, we know Lisa had her good money here. Money, la la, Lisa love me, and we're not gonna put that past you. But like, if we're gonna go with what we know and what the numbers are, we gotta stick to that. You know, like, why the sudden change?
is when armies started the hashtag Spotify Corrupt, because although Spotify promises that this was just a mistake, years of evidence indicate that Spotify's executives favor certain artists, especially the ones signed to Interscope Records.
The pop star's Good For You sitting at the top of Spotify's most streamed songs of the summer list, along with 7 of her other songs.
The American music label Interscope Records is a division of Universal Music Group, or UMG, the biggest music company in the world. Interscope's last CFO and EVP was Jeremy Ehrlich, who served these positions from April 2016 to March 2019. Billie Eilish signed to Interscope just months after he became CFO in 2016. And in 2019,
she blew up.
Just a couple of months after Billie Eilish released her debut album, Jeremy left Interscope and became Spotify's head of music strategy.
Interesting.
That year, Billie Eilish became one of the most streamed artists on Spotify. The same thing happened in 2021. Olivia Rodrigo signed to Interscope Records before releasing her debut album in 2021, and Spotify promoted that album like crazy. Spotify
No
sent
pun
emails
intended.
to its users offering limited edition cassettes for the ones who streamed her album the most. Spotify organized and promoted a free car wash with the album's theme, and even Jeremy himself was telling the New York Times how he didn't expect for Olivia's album to have so many streams on Spotify. That year, Olivia Rodrigo's debut album became Spotify's most streamed album of the year. Now back to BTS. A year after BTS's popularity exploded in America, Jeremy Ehrlich signed this K-pop girl group to Interscope when he was still the CFO at the label. He promised the group's Korean company executives to make these girls the biggest band in the world. But that title is held by BTS. And after them is Imagine Dragons. And after them is Coldplay.
Interesting,
and after
Imagine
them
Dragons.
Is and then is Arctic Monkeys. And then is Queen. And then is One Direction. And then is The Neighborhood. And then is The Beatles. And then, finally, is Jeremy Ehrlich's favorite group. But BTS are not only the biggest group of 2022, they are also the 5th biggest artist of 2022. And this is something that historically has been very hard to achieve because soloists have always been more popular than groups. This is why BTS being number 5 is even a bigger achievement than you can think. The second biggest group, Imagine Dragons, is estimated to be around the 40th position in the overall artist charts. And I don't even know if we can trust Spotify saying that Imagine Dragons surpasses Coldplay
that's what
as the second
surprised
biggest
me.
group, because Imagine Dragons are also
I thought
signed to
Coldplay would be
Interscope.
second.
And if you're from Interscope, Spotify loves you.
Interesting. I didn't realize the connection with Interscope and Spotify. And now when you start putting the puzzle pieces together, you really start seeing the bigger picture, don't you? We got the edges and now we're starting to fill in the middle parts of this puzzle and we're starting to see, it's all adding up. Like when you said the Imagine Dragons was Interscope too, I'm like, that's what gagged me. Because don't get me wrong, Olivia Rodrigo deserved her little moment. I'm not trying to take that away from her. Like, good for you. No pun intended. But to have all this excessiveness and like Spotify supporting certain groups by having like car washes and stuff like that. And meanwhile, Hybe is the one over here, I guess, having to do all these other things for BTS. It just makes it seem so unfair, first off. But then second off, it's like, would you want to be that person that like, I don't know, what is it? It's not payola on Spotify, but like, would you want to be that artist when you know like you get number 1 and it's maybe not the most legit? I don't know. I just can't believe also that Imagine Dragons is number 2 over Coldplay. Strange.
Like I said, Spotify releases a chart every year with the most streamed songs and artists, and along with them, they also release playlists that reflect these charts, so you can easily listen to the most popular artists of the year. However, this year, Spotify didn't include BTS
that's what makes
on
me
the
mad.
top
That's what I
artists
don't
of
like.
2022 playlist, and the 5th position was given to Ed Sheeran.
Mr.
Of
Eddie.
course, armies were going to notice this, so Spotify created another playlist only for groups. This doesn't affect the other groups because, like I said, it's very hard for groups to compete against soloists, and they barely are on the top artist charts. But this affects BTS because they are on the top 5. This is the first year Spotify has ever separated the artist playlist into a soloist playlist and a group playlist. So Spotify doesn't want BTS to be recognized as one of the platform's most popular artists because it doesn't benefit them, allegedly. This is even more obvious by the fact that if Spotify wanted to divide their playlist into soloists and groups, these playlists should be called Top Soloists of 2022, not
Were there any
Top
groups
Artists.
in there?
This is not only a misleading title, but it also seems like a very funny change to make.
That's what I was just about to say. It just seems like they always got to make a change. Something is always changing when BTS comes to mind. When it comes to BTS, Billboard's going to change some rules. Spotify's going to change their playlist. Somebody's going to change a brand new... Like, that's what it feels like to me. It's always BTS paving the way, but for new rules that don't benefit them. You know what I mean? And that's what... That's what gets me all hype about it, because they deserve the recognition of all these other artists, if not more, because they're a group of people that have literally singing in another language taken over the charts in a different country. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what has to be so hard to accomplish. And I just don't understand why they're taking that away from them. It makes me sad. They're just scared. Showing BTS to all the locals will just make all their favorites drop off completely and BTS will take up the top 10. I think that's what it is.
In 2022, right, Jeremy? Because Spotify has always included groups in their top artist
That's
playlists.
what I'm thinking.
With this, Spotify is just hiding BTS in strategic ways, but they are not necessarily lying. They are not denying the fact that BTS is number 5. They just don't want people to know about it. They are not lying. They are just misleading listeners. This was until Spotify took the title of the most streamed K-pop soloist away from Jungkook to give it to one of Jeremy's K-pop girls.
Respect.
Despite not releasing a debut album, Jungkook BTS is the most streamed K-pop soloist of 2022, achieving this with only 3
How about
songs.
it?
However, 24 hours after this announcement, Spotify named one of Jeremy's K-pop girls as the most streamed K-pop soloist of 2022, making media outlets delete the reports on the list and change them to this instead. But there was no explanation as to why this happened. Fans of these K-pop girls tried to give the excuse that Spotify decided to not count collaborations as the artist's songs. So all the streams for Left and Right, Charlie Puth's collaboration with Jungkook, were not supposed to be counted, and that's why they changed the results. However, if collaborations were not counted, then the most streamed K-pop soloist of 2022 should be J-Hope of BTS, who released Jack in a Box, an
How about
album
that?
with
You
no
wanna talk about it?
features. In any case, collaborations or not, a BTS member should have the title of the most streamed K-pop soloist, not this girl. So after Spotify Corrupt trended for hours on Twitter, Spotify changed the list once again, giving Jungkook the title of the most streamed K-pop soloist.
Oh, so we went back. Oh, interesting change of events. I didn't realize that it went back to JK. I thought we were going to just leave it here on Lisa. But I'm not saying that bullying works. But sometimes you gotta stand up, and that's what I said about Bora in the very beginning. Watching her video, especially the last video, I said, Bora will show you facts and say things that need to be said that a lot of people are afraid to say. And that's what I have respect for. Respect. Oh, yeah.
Spotify then tweeted from their K-pop account. Every year, we endeavor to accurately
They have a
reflect
K-pop account?
consumption around the world. In reference to our top K-pop artists of 2022 playlist, multiple genre tags led to slightly different top 10 lists, and they were not properly merged. This mistake has been corrected. We join the fans in celebrating the many achievements of BTS and regret this error. But this tweet doesn't really answer anything.
Nope.
If this was a true honest error, if this was truly a mistake while merging genres, why were BTS the only ones affected?
Wah,
Why
wah.
did the rest of
Exactly.
the K-pop list
Give us
remain the same?
reasons.
Why did you decide this year, for the first time ever, to exclude groups like BTS from the top artist playlist? Why did you include BTS only on playlists where they can be seen next to Jeremy's favorite group? But this is just one of the many times in which Spotify has been acting weird with BTS on the platform. From ridiculous filtering of streams, cutting BTS's numbers almost in half, to leaking BTS songs on their own platform. Spotify is known for sabotaging artists who refuse to play their game. If you're not a BTS fan, you may be thinking, why should I care about any of this? Why should I care about some dumb K-pop fan war? Why should I care that some big
Let me just say
label-
this too. I am not here for K-pop fan wars. I am not the drama channel you're looking for. If you're looking to hear to be like, oh, I hate them, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not me. And if you know me, you know me. You know I'm never going to say that. I give respect to artists so much. I commend Lisa for having such an amazing year. I commend the girls of Blackpink. I'll say the names. I know BoraCity does a very amazing job of kind of saying Jeremy's girls, the K-pop girls, blah, blah, blah. No, I'll say it like I always do. Blackpink had a phenomenal year, and I do not take away any credit from them. When you sit down and look at the facts, you have to just see some of the sketchy things that are happening. And if the shoe was on the other foot, I just feel like it would be another big thing for any group. And to me, I will never sit here and be anti. Anti is not even my vocabulary unless we're talking about Rihanna's deluxe studio album. Listen, I have nothing but respect for the girls of Blackpink. They worked their asses off to get to where they are. So please just take this and what I'm saying and everything like that with a grain of salt, because I am here defending BTS, but I'm not putting down any other group. Please remember that. I need to take a sip of coffee. This is getting intense. Whenever I was saying all the things that change their rules and everything, and like award shows, creating like best K-pop group now, and like now you can't be in the top song of the year because if you're in the top group song of the year, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. It just really irks my nerves.
Is stealing the #1 position from another big corrupt label. If you're not familiar with BTS and their story, it may be hard to believe, but BTS are not from one of these big music corporations. They are actually independent artists, and this is why they've been recognized as some of the biggest independent artists in the music industry. But like any other independent artist, when they become too big for their small management to handle, they ask for help from a big American label to distribute
Bring in
their
Scooter
albums.
Beep.
This is why BTS has a distribution deal with the the American label Geffen Records, but they are only signed to HYBE, a Korean music label which BTS basically helped
built that
from
building,
scratch.
built that
This is also
from-
Bad Bunny's story.
Oh,
He is
I love
signed
that.
to his own Puerto Rican label, but has a distribution deal with one of Sony's music companies. All these American companies do is distribute their albums in America.
Makes
but
sense.
since the artists are not signed to the label, the executives only give this type of heavy promotion to their signed
That would make
artists.
sense
so
as
when
well.
it comes to artistic liberties and promotions, BTS and Bad Bunny are basically on their own. This is why it feels even more wrong that these big executives are taking BTS's achievements. If BTS were signed to Sony, for example, this would just be another nasty fight by UMG and Sony, but this is actually this K-pop group's American management, Interscope, along with Spotify's executives constantly trying to make this girl group look bigger than they are by associating them with BTS at all costs. Allegedly. And this is not new. BTS has been harmed by Interscope and therefore Spotify for years. One of Interscope's signed artists, Olivia Rodrigo, was promoted in South Korea as the solo singer who's currently in a battle with BTS. And this K-pop girl group has always used BTS's name to create their own media play. But this year, they've been more shameless than ever. This K-pop group's management, label, Jeremy, or whoever the creates their media play has been buying a
Bora, we got a little spicy right there, Bora. You have to censor yourself. I don't know if I've heard that before. Bora, it's the passion. Oh yeah, I love it.
Awards that were supposed to go to BTS in some American award shows. They have been pretending that they're not really sold-out arena concerts were part of a bigger tour than BTS's sold-out stadium tours. They managed to get Times Magazine to name them Entertainer of the Year, when they are not the biggest group, the biggest K-pop group, and much less America's Entertainer of the Year. And most recently, of course, this whole Spotify fiasco happened. You've probably heard about Spotify's corruption, or maybe even assumed it, because that's just how the music industry is. It destroys independent artists and it saturates the general public with artists from the same big three corporations. This is why when a song by the YouTuber Corpse became a mainstream song, everyone in the internet celebrated. It was a big win for independent artists because it proved that a technically small artist with no big label behind him defeated the big corrupt corporation that is Spotify.
It appears that even without a swell of mainstream adoption, his single will be passing 100 million streams soon. I think it really highlights the power dynamics have shifted so greatly.
But when artists like BTS do this time and time again, nobody talks about it because these corporations hide these artists' names as much as they can. This is why Corp's other songs didn't become mainstream again. And this allegedly hurts corporations like Spotify even more because BTS is a big name and they refuse to play the American industry's game. And this has cost them a lot.
Truly.
BTS has talked about this. They've confessed that they've received offers to fraudulently become bigger than what they are, but they keep refusing.
This is another reason too, I get so inspired by BTS because even in my own little small microcosm of reacting to BTS, doing BTS commentary and stuff, even though this is just another thing with ARMY YouTube, even though I'm not the biggest YouTuber, K-pop YouTuber or whatever, and I'm not trying to be, and even though I don't get the views that everybody else's gets, I will never compromise my morals to do clickbait, to do the and all the thumbnails. I will never compromise myself to throw people under the bus to make myself be better. That's not me. And I feel like true ARMY learned that from BTS. You know, does that make sense? I feel like me personally using BTS as my inspiration just in life in general, this is why I love them so much. They were literally offered, being like, we can make you the biggest group in the world. All you have to do is insert A, B, C, and D and kind of lessen your name a little bit. You know what I mean? And I would never want to do that. To me, that's why BTS are so real and so great. And I don't know. That's what I draw from them inspiration-wise.
솔직히 더 큰 데도 갈 수 있었고 기회도 얻었고
부정적인 방법도 좋지만 조금 더 정직한 방법으로
Yep.
좋은 음악을
Exactly what I'm
만드는 게
saying.
어떨까요? 모두 다 좋은 음악을 하고 좋은 음악을 듣는 그런 시대가 왔으면 좋겠습니다.
And I've talked about these charm manipulation tactics before. BTS are known in the industry for refusing to play for radio play and for American awards. My conclusion to all of this may not feel gratifying. I see many armies and music fans saying, let's just sabotage Spotify. Let's not listen to any artist there. But that may do more harm than good, because Spotify is the music industry. And not supporting independent artists would only empower these corporations even more.
That's the sucky
truth
part.
Is that the present and future of music is streaming, and sabotaging Spotify would only hide BTS even more. Spotify has so many corruption problems, but so does YouTube, the Grammys, and most music institutions. So I think the best way in which fandoms can protest such corporations is to shame them on social media, while also supporting independent artists. In the case of BTS, ARMY's strategy has been the same for years, making BTS so big that it's impossible to deny them a spot on this list. At the end of the day, these K-pop groups' image as these big worldwide artists are simply that, an image. Extreme media play and promotion can only get you so far. Olivia Rodrigo also had connections with Spotify, and that helped her music career to skyrocket, allegedly. But this effect is not happening with this girl group. The media play is not working, and this is mainly because BTS's fandom won't let it happen. So speak up, it works. And don't forget to stream your favorite artists.
About it. Sorry, I literally had a little mini moment. All right, everyone, that was another beautiful BoraCity Magazine video that I truly appreciated all the effort and work that they put into it. It really does make my heart sad to see all of the ways that BTS's competition, not just the competition, the artists, but the big record labels trying to manipulate everything are bringing BTS down. Once again, I don't blame these artists. I don't blame Blackpink. I don't blame Olivia. I know that they are just doing what they love to do, singing, and these companies are the manipulative ones that are doing everything they can to make them number one. Like Bora said in this, Spotify is the music industry now. So if you can put somebody's album at the top head page, put it into all their playlists without asking them, put it on their up next, whatever, blah, 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 that will of course help them and get the discovery. And if BTS had a little bit of that, it would just be a different world in my opinion. But once again, dropped facts, learned a lot, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much to BoraCity, and thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this, and please go make sure to subscribe to BoraCity Magazine. Subscribe down below as well, and click like and comment what you think about this whole situation. I'm interested to see your thoughts. With that being said, I'll be back with more videos soon, but until then, remember, I love you. Bye. I would love to know them by name. So,